Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video. Have a bit of a chat about what has happened in Spain over the last week or so while I go for a walk with my dog Mia. So let's go. Now I'll get the weather out of the way. As you can see, another sunny day after sunny day after sunny day here in Madrid. Around 33 degrees today, I think. So it's a nice day, not too hot in my opinion. Anything above 33 is a little bit too hot in my opinion, so not a bad day. So what has been happening in Spain over the last week or so? Well, it's all about drunken tourism, what they call here in Spanish turismo de borrachera, and there have been some ugly scenes in various parts of the country, but mainly the Balearic Islands. A story broke during the week of an ugly incident on the island of Ibiza in the Balearic Islands. A group of British tourists, women British tourists, were sitting down having a drink, and the waiter came over, asked them for the bill. This group decided to argue about the bill, and the waiter ended up getting a slit throat. Now, some of the articles in the Spanish press are a bit conflicting about this story, not exactly sure what happened. Some reports are saying that a glass was thrown that broke and ended up slashing the waiter's throat, so not sure about that. And other stories are saying that there was a glassing involved. The client stood up, broke a glass and slashed the person's throat. So either way, a person is in hospital, has had 2 operations with a slit throat. But as I said, conflicting stories. But where there is no doubt, of course, is that a person is in hospital, as I said, with a slit throat, and the police are desperately looking for the person involved in this attack. They want to talk to her, they want to find her, because after the event, she fled the scene. But what I will say about this is that this type of tourism in places like Ibiza, Mallorca, and other parts of the country, these tourist destinations, is out of control. This drunken tourism is out of control. And another thing that stands out for me about this case is the responsible use of alcohol here in Spain. Now, we all know that alcohol is cheap. People come down here on holidays looking to have a good time. And of course, when you do find cheap alcohol and you do find big serves of alcohol, it's easy to go over the top. Of course, this type of thing doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen every day that somebody is getting their throat slashed in a violent incident, but there are numerous alcohol-fueled violent events that take place in Spain over the summer months because people can't control their alcohol. And there's also an issue here about responsible alcohol serving. Maybe some of the establishments here in Spain need to know when to stop serving alcohol to drunk tourists. Just an idea. But anyway, as I said, the search is on for the perpetrator of this attack. The police are out looking for her, and I imagine that she will get caught. If anybody out there knows who this person is, I recommend turning herself in to the Guardia Civil because she's not going to get off the island. As I mentioned, there are controls at the airport and no doubt at other exit points of that island. So turn yourself in. Now, I would like to stop talking about ugly incidents in the Balearic Islands, but unfortunately, another ugly incident took place the other day too. But this time, it wasn't a group of British tourists involved, it was a group of German tourists, and what they did was also a very, very low act. Because unfortunately, we're talking about the all too frequent act of gang rape here in Spain, this time happening on the island of Mallorca, as I said, involving 5 German men and 1 unfortunate victim, another German tourist who I believe is only 18 years of age. And again, I imagine that the common denominator here between the first case that I spoke about, the glassing in Ibiza, and this gang rape in Mallorca is excessive alcohol use and excessive partying. Now, I'm not going to go too deeply into the details here, but basically it's a story about boy meets girl, boy invites girl up to hotel room because they're having a good time, and when they get to the hotel room, the girl finds out that 4 of this guy's mates are also in the room. And what goes on after that, as I said, I'm not going to get into the details, but you can imagine, right? But again, I'll bring this back to the common denominator. alcohol and alcohol abuse, people drinking too much alcohol, and then things like this unfortunately take place. And as I mentioned before, this is all over the Spanish press. Now, even though a crackdown on alcohol use in places like the Balearic Islands would be a good idea, well, I say Balearic Islands, but it could be Benidorm, it could be the Canary Islands, anywhere where there is this mass tourism, this drunken tourism, as I said, would be a good idea. I don't think it's ever going to happen because, again, it all comes down to money. Businesses wait 6 months of the year to make this type of money, and it's very, very difficult to stop. So something has to change, but unfortunately, I don't think it will. Because as we know, cash is king, and this type of event, this type of ugly event, is unfortunately collateral damage of this type of business, in my opinion. So I can't see anything changing soon, but we live in hope. Now, the next thing I want to talk about today is another embarrassing event for the government, because basically, again, in the government, somebody is not telling the truth. Now, if you are a regular viewer of these videos, you might remember that a couple of years ago, I think it was just before COVID or maybe just after COVID, the government was talking about slapping tolls on all of the currently free roads here in Spain, especially the main motorway system. And of course, that got a lot of people upset back in the day, and the government ended up scrapping that plan. Of course, I don't think it's a government plan. I think it's something to do with the European Union. The European Union wants Spain to increase taxes, and one of the ways that they can do that is slapping tolls on the roads. Now, somebody the other day said that this is not a toll, it's a different type of charge, but basically any type of charge on a road is called a toll. So we'll get that out of the way. It's a toll system. Now, the other day, last Monday, the Prime Minister was asked this question, and he refuted this question. He said, no, that is not going to happen. And then on Thursday, around 3 or 4 days later, the head of the traffic directorate here in Spain, a guy called Pere Navarro, came out and said that yes, in 2024 there is going to be tolls implemented on the main motorways here in Spain. And 2 hours later, he retracted his words, said that he didn't know what he was talking about, and said that no, there is not going to be tolls on the roads in 2024. But it's clear that something's going on. Somebody is not telling the truth. Is it the Prime Minister? Is it other members of the government? Or is it the head of the traffic authority here in Spain, Mr. Navarro? I don't know. But the issue for me here is not whether or not we're going to get tolls on the roads next year here in Spain in 2024. I mean, the idea was first put forward, as I said a couple of years ago, and again it's being put forward. Some people might agree that it's a good idea, that we need to increase taxes in this country, and maybe it will improve the road system. I don't know. But the problem for me here is that, again, the government doesn't seem to be telling the truth. It doesn't want to be upfront with the Spanish population. And I ask myself, why is that? But luckily, the answer to that question is a fairly simple one, and that is that there are elections in less than 10 days' time, and of course the government doesn't want to drop this one on the population 10 days out from the election, that they're going to have to pay tolls as of 2024. Even though it might be a European directive, the European Union, as we know, is pushing for this, but the Spanish government doesn't want to annoy too many people so close to a general election. And for this current government, this is the umpteenth time that they have been caught not telling the truth, not being upfront with the Spanish public. We've seen it in the past when it comes to doing deals with different political parties around the country. They didn't tell the truth then, and again, they're not telling the truth now. So I don't know what's going on with this government, but for whatever reason, they can't tell the truth, and they expect to be re-elected in less than 10 days' time. So good luck with that. But anyway, what can we do? On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. If you have an opinion on any of the things that I have spoken about in today's video, please, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.